It's gonna be legendary.
Barney Stinson. Suit up, laser tag, legendary. If you've watched How I Met Your Mother, those words probably made you smile. Barney wasn't just a character, he was the energy of the entire show. His one-liners, his over-the-top schemes, his endless dates always made us laugh. But what if I told you all of that was just a mask? What if the playbook wasn't just a joke, but a shield? And behind that shield was a lonely, romantic man who didn't know how to stop hiding? That's what we're uncovering today on Behind the Persona. Stripping away the comedy, the tricks, the fake confidence, and revealing the real Barney Stinson. His mask didn't appear overnight, it was carefully built. Always the sharpest dressed in the room, always in control, always 2 steps ahead in conversation. That's not confidence, that's choreography. Every move, every joke, every smirk is calculated to keep people from asking the real questions. What are you afraid of, Barney? Why don't you let anyone in? This mask started in childhood, in a home where his father was absent, his mother lied about who he was, and his identity was a puzzle with missing pieces. Remember the episode where he finally meets his dad, only to find he's just a regular suburban guy with another family? That wasn't just a plot twist, it was a lifetime of fantasy collapsing in a single afternoon. And when that kind of hope dies, you start building walls. But the real breaking point, the one that forged the Barney we know, was Shannon, his first true love. Before Shannon, Barney was nothing like the suit-wearing legend. He had long hair, wore tie-dye shirts, worked in a coffee shop, and dreamed of joining the Peace Corps. He believed in love, in doing the right thing. And then Shannon cheated on him with a corporate guy in a suit. Let me repeat that. The very image Barney would later embody, expensive suits, expensive drinks, expensive women, was the image of the man Shannon left him for. This wasn't just a style change. It was the erasure of the version of himself that could be hurt. In its place, he built a caricature on him, a man who could never be betrayed because he would never let anyone close enough. From the outside, Barney's life looks like a constant victory lap. New women every night, a playbook full of ridiculous seduction schemes. But this isn't about connection, it's about distraction. Every date, every conquest, every outrageous story is just another way to avoid silence. Because in silence, feelings creep in, and feelings mean vulnerability. There's a brilliant moment in one episode where Ted calls him out. You're not happy, you're just pretending to be happy. And for a moment, Barney's face changes. He doesn't answer right away because Ted's right. If he keeps moving fast enough from woman to woman, joke to joke, maybe he'll never have to stop long enough to feel alone. And that's the tragedy of Barney Stinson. Always surrounded by people, yet completely alone. But even with all the walls Barney built, there were cracks in the armor. And the first person to really see through them was Ted. Their friendship was more than just beer, high fives, and suits. Ted was one of the few people who actually challenged him, who noticed when the smile was a little too forced or the joke landed a little too quickly. Ted saw that Barney's elaborate schemes weren't about winning women, they were about avoiding himself. And that's why some of Barney's most honest moments happen not with a girlfriend, but with his best friend. Ted was the mirror Barney didn't want to look into, and yet he kept coming back because somewhere deep down he wanted to be seen. And then there was Robin, the one woman who truly broke the pattern. At first, she was just another challenge, another chapter for the playbook, but Robin wasn't like the others. She didn't fall for the lines, she didn't care about the suit, and she wasn't impressed by the flash. She saw the man underneath, even when he tried to bury that man under layers of bravado. Barney's relationship with Robin was different because, for once, he wasn't playing a character. He was being himself, even if that self was clumsy, insecure, and terrified. Their story was messy. They loved each other deeply, but were also too independent, too stubborn, too scared to fully commit. But if you look closely, every moment he had with Robin was a battle between the persona he built and the man he really was. When they were together, he didn't need to hide behind endless conquests or constant noise, but that made him vulnerable, and vulnerability was the one thing Barney had spent his entire adult life avoiding. That's why their breakup hurt so much, because losing Robin wasn't just losing a partner. It was losing the one person who made the mask feel unnecessary. Even after they parted ways, you could see it. In the way he looked at her, in the pauses between his jokes, in the small, almost imperceptible cracks in his voice. Robin was the exception, the proof that the man behind the persona could exist in the open. And yet, he still ran back to the persona because the suit, the smirk, and the showmanship were safe, while love was not. And then came the twist no one saw coming. Barney becoming a father. For a man who had spent his entire life avoiding emotional entanglements, avoiding permanence, avoiding responsibility, holding his newborn daughter was the ultimate collision with everything he had been running from. In that moment, there were no suits, no catchphrases, no playbook, just Barney and this tiny human who didn't care about his persona, didn't care about his reputation, and didn't know the character the world thought he was. She only knew him as Dad. And that single word broke through decades of armor. This was the real him. Not the manufactured legend, not the joke machine, but a man who finally understood unconditional love. The crazy thing is, all those years, all those schemes, all that running, it was never because he didn't want love. It was because he wanted it so badly that losing it terrified him. Becoming a father forced him to face that truth without escape, without distraction, without the comfortable distance of a bar booth or a clever one-liner. It was raw, it was terrifying, and it was real. And when you look back at Barney's journey, from the idealistic kid in a coffee shop to the cynical womanizer to the man who would give anything for his daughter, you realize something important. The persona was never the point. The mask was just a survival strategy, a way to navigate a world that had hurt him too many times. But behind it was always someone capable of immense love, deep loyalty, and genuine vulnerability. We laughed at Barney Stinson, we quoted him, we celebrated the legendary moments, but the real story, the one hiding in plain sight, was about a man learning, slowly and painfully, that being truly seen is worth the risk. And maybe that's why his character resonates so deeply. Because behind all of our own masks, we're just hoping someone will see us too. And if this journey into the real Barney Stinson made you see him in a new light, imagine how many other characters have hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. That's what we do here on Behind the Persona. We go past the jokes, past the scripts, and find the human truth underneath. So if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next episode. And of course, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the man behind the legend. Until next time, keep looking beyond the persona.